Hey friends, how are you? Happy Friday. So good to see you as always. As you are jumping on, love to see you and engage with you. Let me know if you're watching Team Live or if you're watching this later Team Replay. So today I want to talk about self-care and compassion. So let me know if this is something that you struggle with. Give me a heart below because this is something that I am working on with pretty much every single person, right? This is something that we really struggle with. I think specifically as women, right? That we are often doing everything for everyone else. So let me know, do you feel that way? Do you often feel like you're taking care of everyone else's needs and neglecting yours? And how does this make you feel? Like really take a minute and think about that. Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel resentful? Do you feel exhausted, right? And sometimes we don't even recognize that we feel this way. And that is exactly not the point, because likely the people we're taking care of are the people we love, right? Our family, our jobs, like the people we work with. And if we are not taking care of ourselves, we start to get resentful and we start to get really frustrated. And this is not where we want to be, right? Because we want to feel good and we want to be happy around those people we're with. So I want to talk about self-care today because this is something that is so neglected. But what does this even mean? So basically, this is things like getting enough sleep and rest, right? Not feeling like you have to burn the candle at both ends. Having just really feeling like your feelings are heard, understood, and accepted. Right? Like when someone just validates what you say, like how good does that feel, right? It's like, wow, thank you for actually like listening, right? And validating like what I'm saying. Like we need that feeling. We need to have a creative outlet in our lives. And I think this is something that we don't really think about. Like even if you're someone that's very logical, right? And you are very intuitive with things, like we all need a creative outlet. And this can be so many different things, you know, whether it's music or singing or puzzles, or one of my clients loves to do the Cricut machine and make these beautiful cards. Another one of my clients does these beautiful signs. And, you know, it's just so cool to hear all of these wonderful things and how creative the women I work with really are when they give themselves the space and the time to be able to do those things. Other things are feeling comfort and warmth. So I'll ask that question to my clients sometimes, like what other non-food ways make you feel comfort, make you feel warm? Like, you know, that like warm sensation when you have like a hot cup of tea or like a really cozy sweater, or, you know, just those feelings, like those feelings we can get from non-food related ways. And oftentimes we are filling those voids or filling those needs with food because we're not feeling heard. We're not getting our own creative outlet anywhere. We're just constantly doing things for everyone. We're overtired. We're burning the candle at both ends. And we don't have any of this like genuine enjoyment and pleasure in our lives, right? So let me know, is that something that you struggle with? But nurturing yourself like goes beyond self-care. So this is like actually just starting by being kind to yourself. We are our own worst critics, hands down. We are so mean to ourselves. The things that we say to ourselves, the standards we have for ourselves are completely unrealistic most of the time and something we would never expect from others. So, you know, things that we can provide for ourselves are just like asking for a hug, like being like, from your partner, like, I just need a hug right now, right? You know, maybe playing with your pets or just like snuggling with your dog or cat or your animal. Listening to music, like this is something I love to do in the kitchen. If I'm like doing something in the kitchen, I'll listen to relaxing music so it kind of down regulates a little bit if I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed. I've been also doing like white noise at nighttime, so that helps with sleep, just like that noise in the background. Reading a book for pleasure. I know, it's like crazy. It blows your mind that you actually would read a book for enjoyment. But I was just talking to a new client this morning recently, and she was watching like very disturbing shows at night, like very high drama, like murder mystery, that kind of stuff, which is like fun and thrilling, but she was having a really hard time falling asleep, right? And staying up a lot later than she wanted to. So we talked about with her, just by focusing on her evening routine and identified some comforting, soothing things that she could do instead of watching like these TV shows at night, right? Because then she was going to bed like thinking about this stuff, right? And that totally happens. I'm so sensitive to that stuff, so I have to be very careful of what I consume. But think about that. Like, what are you consuming throughout the day, let alone before you go to bed, that may be limiting your sleep quality? And then things like just even going outside, taking a walk in nature, looking at the sunset, pausing, sitting outside and just listening to the birds, buying yourself some flowers and just putting them on the table, just like seeing those every day, putting some fresh flowers at your desk at work, getting a massage, just taking a hot shower, and just like sitting in the shower. One of my clients said to me the other day, normally she works out every single morning. Instead, she did a face mask, she poured herself a cup of coffee, and then she took like a really hot shower before she jumped into her workday. And that was like so different for her, right? Than like slowly giving herself this time versus, getting up super early and rushing into the day. So these are just like really small examples of shifting the ways that you're doing things to give yourself more love and attention. So I'd love to know if there's certain things from things that I've talked about that you do that you could share, with other people that really work well for you. I know, especially as moms, like y'all are amazing. And the things that you do every single day that are unrecognized is amazing, right? You're expected to do all the things. The laundry never ends, the dishes never ends, the meals never end, the constant work, like you just have to manage all the things. So it's hard, I know, to get this time for yourself, but some things that have been helpful with the women that I'm working with are advocating for your needs more often. And this does not have to be disrespectful, where I think sometimes people feel bad for saying like, okay, I need to be really assertive and say like, nope, this is what I need to do, and be very like aggressive almost, but it's actually the opposite. Just being compassionate and having a conversation is usually just very helpful. And saying some things that have worked in the past, one of my clients wanted to go for a walk after work and just give herself this time to transition after getting home from a long day, needing this space for herself before jumping into family and dinner. Her kids were old enough where they could be by themselves, but they always wanted her attention, right, when she got home. So she just communicated in the kitchen, wrote on a whiteboard, hey, after school today, I am just going for a 30-minute walk. I'll have my phone if you need anything. I'll be back by 6 o'clock. This is what we're having for dinner. And it was amazing by just communicating to your kids, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'll be. I'm doing this for myself, and just giving them that direction. They're like, oh, okay, we'll see when you get back. And then you come back feeling so much better, right? You feel happy, and you're able to be more present and more available to those people that you really care about after you take the time for yourself, right? So it's so important that you're recognizing those things. Another thing I was talking to a couple people about are getting enough sleep. And part of that problem was on the weekends. Talking to someone this morning, they would stay up really late, watching a show. So they would order dinner after their son went to bed and then watch a movie. By the time you pick out a movie, it's 30 minutes. And then she was like, I just feel like we're staying up way too late and I'm not getting enough sleep and rest. So we talked about just, communicating with her husband and saying, hey, like, let's try to push dinner a little earlier. Let's have a game plan with a movie, or maybe just stick with an hour show. So that way I can make sure I can get to bed by 11 and have some good sleep and get up the next day feeling good. Easy, right? Simple. My husband and I'm very clear with what that looks like for me, and very respectful too of like, hey, like this is what time like I really need to go to bed. And so we're very thoughtful in our evenings of like, okay, we need to, if we're going to watch a show tonight, this is what time we need to start it, if we're going to do this together, because otherwise I'm done. So it can be respectful, and you will show up better for those people by taking care of yourself more often. So I just wanted to give you some examples of how other people that I'm watching are doing this. And how I've tried to do this in my life. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying that it's simple. It definitely takes some navigating and troubleshooting and trial and error, like anything else that we're working on that's successful. But I think it's going to be something really helpful. So I want you to think about that today and this weekend of what are some things you can do to take care of yourself more and advocate for your needs. So I'd love for you guys to share below. Let me know if this is helpful and if I can do anything for you. Have a good weekend.